podcast for all University of Kentucky sports, the loyal BBN Fan Show, and it starts right now.
Welcome, everybody, to the BBN Fan Show. It's me and Leigh. We're both here back again on this Thursday night. Try to be on here every Thursday night at 7. And just introduce yourself to them, Leigh. And how's your day going?
Hey, guys. I'm Leigh. Day's going good. Just looking for everything I can find about our cats,
It's still exciting right now. It's making the days go by fast, looking at some of these players and talking about it and everything. And we just saw that Pope had his interview yesterday with the CBS Sports cast. He was talking about that he's not done with this roster, that he wants to add two more players, maybe one of them to be a red shirt, and maybe another one just be a plain role player that understands his role, that would just want to wear Kentucky across their chest their last year and everything. Otis is the first person on here. Go Cats.
What's up, Otis?
But we got one player that we have been talking to, and we have offered him, is a player from Miami. He's a transfer, Divine Ukachukwu. And Ukachukwu, yeah, 6'3", 190 pounds, point guard. He would be a pretty good in addition to this team. Leigh, what do you think about him?
I think he would too. He's 5.3 points per game, 1.9 rebounds, 2.3 assists, 48.3% field goals. He had 28 starts in 20 minutes. I think that he's got a really good jumper, a really good inside jumper. If he can get close enough, I think far out, I think he needs a little work, but I think he could be a really good inside player.
Yeah. And we mentioned some of the players last week. We're not going to go through all of them again like we did, but he said he was scouring the country right now looking for two players. And, we've just read about the Divine and know that he has made an offer for him. But the other player, I don't know where he's scouring, if he's in Alaska, Anchorage, if he's overseas, he just said he's all over. So we're going to, maybe see in the next couple of weeks what we're going to get on that one with Leigh.
Yeah, we could end up with somebody from overseas. We don't know.
Yeah,
I think he's doing a lot in the background that's kind of hush hush right now.
Yeah.
And do you think? Do you feel like with some of the recruits he's looking at, he's dropping a little bit in talent?
Yeah, I believe he is, because he knows right now he's got 12 talented players. He doesn't need to bring in anybody else that's going to start or that wants a lot of minutes. He just needs someone that is just going to fill a role in practice, maybe get some time on the floor if we're up big. And he said that he also said that he is going to play all 12 positions, all the players, and that everybody's going to get minutes on this team. It's not going to be a platoon, but he said he is going to play them all.
Right. And I think he will. I think he will sub out a little earlier, keep guys out of foul trouble.
Fresh.
With the talent. Yeah. With the talent we're going to have, guys can sit a little bit longer to get a little bigger rest, a little more if they need it. I think it'll help with injuries, because guys aren't having to play so many minutes at, full steam. And I just think it'll help all around.
Yeah, I believe so too. He's in everybody's backyard right now. He's been going on visits. The latest one that we'll talk about is Christian Collins. We have offered him a scholarship. They met with him yesterday at his residence, and he is 6'8", 200 pound, out of California, and plays the power forward spot. He is actually ranked number 5 in the 24/7 Rivals. So this is a good I watched a film on him, and there's him and another player that we talked about last week, Tyran Stokes. I would love to have both of these players together on the same team because it would be an awesome duo with these two on the floor, both together.
Yeah, I think so too. I think, they would play well together. I think they would feed each other well. I think that as far as playing in the paint, I think they would be good together in the paint from what I've seen from highlights. So yeah, I think those two would be good together.
Yeah, I do. I love his game and his versatility. Just the way he holds himself on the court. He's going to be a great player.
Yeah, he is. Hey, Mercury.
Yeah, how you doing there? Okay, we got Jordan Smith. This is another player that we just got involved with. 6'2", 200-pound shooting guard from Virginia. It's just somebody new. He's actually ranked number 4 in 24/7 Rivals top 50, top 100. What do you think about his game there?
Well, I like his size.
Yeah.
If that's the muscle, we've needed some muscle.
Yeah.
We need somebody that can battle in the paint. We need somebody that can go for rebounds. We need somebody that can go through walls of guys. We don't need somebody that's going to be timid and sit back there and wait. We need somebody that's going to take the ball and go. And I think he reminds me of Owe.
Yep.
The way he's built. I really think that he would be a good addition.
I do too, and he would fit right in. I mean, I know Pope has not ever done anything with maybe offering him a scholarship yet, as far as I heard.
No, he hasn't, and he hasn't with Tony Bryant or Jordan Smith, either one.
Yeah, and Tony Bryant is another player we're just going to talk about. He's ranked number 14, 6'11", 200 pounds, power forward out of Florida. And a lot of people says they think it might be down to just 2 schools right now. And it was Kentucky and Missouri is the last that I saw with that. Did you?
I did see Kansas was kind of in the mix too.
Yeah.
I did see that they were in the battle for him. I don't think Clemson is too. So, that's what we've got. We got Missouri, Clemson, Kansas, and us. Yes. So I think out of that, Kansas and us would be the ones that, are standing out the most.
Yes. Yeah, I believe so.
Thank you, Mercury. And yes, we are every Thursday night at 7.
Every Thursday night at 7, barring anything happening. But yeah, we should be on here every Thursday at 7. So please join in. Hit the like button. Subscribe. Get the notifications. Tell your friends. Do all this, and it just helps out the show and different things. But we know that we need to probably replace Travis Perry, and that's what Pope is doing right now. And I believe he's not going to have any trouble getting 2 extra players just to be like role players. And one of them could be a multi-year player that could redshirt 1 year.
And I agree with you on that. And I don't think it's such a bad thing. There were some schools that have been looking at Travis Perry. We'll just have to wait and see what happens with that.
I know he made the visit to Maryland and different things. I still, haven't heard too much on that. I know that it was trending that Ole Miss was maybe the favorite, but now you never know with everything. And I heard some people, I don't know if they've been just making the news up. I've heard that Arkansas has offered him $1 million, and I was like, I do not think that.
I don't think so either.
That would be something that would really surprise me, but I do not believe that he's going to go to Arkansas anyhow. So
I don't think so. Big Mike wants to ask, how important is winning this year for recruiting next year? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, that's always important. You need to win to be able to get good players. If you just have average teams, you're not going to get the talented up tier basketball players. And I believe Mark Pope's got his foot in the door with the good players coming out of 2026, and already some players from 2027 he is kind of talked to. But yeah, we need to win, and win big, just like Kentucky is supposed to every year. Go out and win big.
Well, I think the wins that we had last year swayed Jaden Quaintance. So I really believe that's, he saw what Pope did, and it changed his mind about, where's the program going, and what is it going to fold, or is it going to survive? And we obviously survived. Otis said, did you hear about or Ashkenazi if we're still in contact? We're still in contact. There's just been no updates yet.
Yeah, no way updates on any of the players that we talked about last week. It's still just kind of been a set, just stalled out. It kind of looks like, but that might be just what Pope is wanting. Just to fill everybody out and put together a roster, the best that he wants to do it at this particular time.
Right. Mercury, JC is going to be fully recovered before November because Pope stated that he spoke with him and they believe with the work he's putting in that he will be cleared before the season.
Yeah.
That was Mark Pope's latest.
Yeah, that was yesterday with the CBS. He was talking about
with
Rothstein, and was talking about how Jay Hughes just the greatest kid, very physical for a 16-year-old. What he did last year at Arizona State was great until he went down in February with that knee injury. But
right.
He said that he cannot wait to beat Mark Pope in chess. So I mean,
right.
Everybody's wanting to beat Mark Pope in chess. I don't know if he's that good, or if a lot of these players just love to play chess. It's just a different thing.
I mean, hey Peanut, what's up? I mean, it's good to have that because it's analytical. It makes you think, and basketball is like chess. You have to plan your next move. You have to see where the players are on the board, So I think that's a really good thing. I think playing chess with them is quite genius.
I believe he said that they're going to rush him to get 100% completely healthy before they actually even put him out on the court. So, they're not going to do any risk. If he's not ready for an exhibition game at the beginning of the year, unless they clear him just to play maybe 5-10 minutes, just to get used to the speed of the game and everything again. But
putting the pressure on his knee, and he's going to probably be ready for contact in September.
Yeah,
light contact and then work his way up. I mean, I don't know that. I want to say we might see him in the starting, of the season. But I think if he doesn't play, I think it's just because they want to give him just a little more time. We don't want to re-injure something.
And I know the way he was talking about that right now, Brandon Garrison is hitting it hard. He's got a big summer planned out with conditioning, different things, weight room, and everything. That if it is that Quaintance cannot be on the court, Brandon Garrison, he'll pick up that slack right there.
Well, he and Noah both have been in the gym really hitting it. So I like seeing that. Mercury always still has not decided yet. They're still a little bit longer in the draft process.
I believe the 28th is the last day of this this month. Today's actually the
of May.
First, so we got 28 days. I'm hoping we'll hear something. The way Mark Pope said that the biggest part of his heart is still here in Lexington. So that was a good omen. What Mark Pope said that yesterday in the interview, and
right.
But he raved, and they asked which players are going to make the biggest improvement from the players that came back from last year's team, and he said all of them. He said he believes that this is going to be big strides for Colin Chandler, Trent Noah. Ortega's just going to be better. Colin Chandler. Actually, Colin Chandler called Mark Pope during the interview, and Mark Pope put him on, and you could see in the background he was inside the gym and had just got through doing workout or shoot around or whatever they was doing, and Pope put him on TV, and Colin didn't say too much, but he finally just let him go and told him he was going to call him back. So
they're definitely putting in the work. They want to do everything they can to improve on last year. They're definitely putting in the work. And speaking of games, I am so excited that St. John's took over for UCLA in the Champions Classic, and we are going to play St. John's.
Yeah, that was a big announcement this morning, waking up and seeing that we had already assumed it was going to be St. John's or UConn. We didn't know if it was going to be UCLA or if it was going to be Ohio State getting out, but because it's being Ohio State staying in, we would have played UCLA this year. So St. John's is taking over UCLA spot. So we will play, I believe it is December the 20th, and we'll play St. John's in Catlanta. And that'll be, I believe, it'll be a doubleheader because that'll be Ohio State playing North Carolina the first game, and I believe we've got the second game after that. So plan on probably a late night. It'll probably be like a 9:00 start, something like that. But Rick Pitino put out along with Pope together, made a little bit short 10-15 second video about them talking about, and now it's coach versus player, and and it's
mentor versus student.
Yep. And it's been since 1996. It's been
30 years.
30 years. The anniversary is this coming year. So they was trying to get something together at Rupp Arena, trying to get something together at Madison Square Garden. They couldn't work it out. We thought we was going to have the exhibition game with them in the beginning of the year. So I believe we will not have an exhibition game against St. John's. I believe it'll just be kind of a normal, maybe play Kentucky Wesleyan or something like that. But they was going to do it for charity. So
I think part of the proceeds will probably still go to charity. They'll probably work that into the contract. As far as Mercury's asking about Yelovich. Well, Yelovich is still playing overseas, and his team is winning. As long as he is winning, he will stay overseas. Yeah. He will come here in possibly June.
If he keeps winning, I heard like mid-June would be when he would actually get to Kentucky.
Right. So, we'll see him in probably mid-June. Go Cats 1970 says, Collins reminds me of Shep. He really does. He really does. He needs to get in there to get to the rim a little more and dunk a little more because he did win the dunk contest. But other than that, I could see him being like Shep for sure. And we were talking about Colin Chandler. We see him as the Rex Chapman.
Yeah, I believe he's got a lot of Rex in him, and I don't, both of them can shoot, both of them can get up. Now I think Chapman got him in the hops department, but he don't have him by much. Colin, he can still get up, so that's a good comparison. I believe he's a better shooter than Shepherd was.
I do too. I believe once he gets into it, I really believe he could be.
Yeah.
Light on the way in. Certainly seems Pope and Steph are earning their pay. Can't wait to see what they put on the floor. Big Blue 66. I agree. They are earning their money. Like they are burning the candle at both ends. They are traveling the globe. They are everywhere. And Yelovich, when he comes back, one of the pros to him is going to be the fact that he's been playing. He's already in shape. He doesn't have to summer condition. He doesn't have to go through all that. The man's been playing ball.
Yeah, I see Host said that we ought to maybe play UConn in an exhibition game. I don't know what UConn's, beginning of the season looks like, if they could do it or if they even would come to Rupp Arena or where would they play it, if for a charity game. But, I don't think that's something that Dan Hurley would be very interested in.
I don't think so either. I think that would definitely be out. I think
Yeah.
you might find a Kentucky school to do a exhibition with and use that money for charity,
Yeah.
Eastern or Kentucky Wesleyan,
Do it for
Bellarmine.
the flood, for the flood
Yeah,
damage and
yeah.
everything like
That's
that.
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, and they could just do it with they could do actually, the exhibition game from maybe play northern Kentucky, because that's where affected a lot of the flooding and the damages were. So
Yeah, and that would be good. And that's possible. And someone had brought up, I can't remember where I saw it, but when we play St. John's in Catlanta, we should wear the denim just because we're playing against Rick.
that would be fans would love that. I mean,
Oh, that would be the best.
Rick Pitino would love that too. It'd just be the
Murray
topping on
State,
the
yes, that would be a good one.
yeah, Murray State. I know, yeah, we do play Michigan State. I don't know what date that one is. I know that should be before the December 20th game. We usually play that one maybe at the beginning of December, or is it the beginning?
Yeah, beginning of December, I think.
Yeah. Because I think we had maybe last year we played Duke, and we had 3 or 4 games before we played Duke.
Yeah.
So, that'll probably be about the same time period for the Michigan State game this year.
I would say it's going to be probably the same time frame for sure.
Mm-hmm. And plus we've got Indiana at Rupp Arena. He did say in his interview yesterday that he is handcuffed. He said he cannot talk about what the schedule is except for what's already been announced. The things that they're working behind doors right now, he said there might be a big surprise. So
Michigan State, November 18th. Thank you, Peanut, for that.
There we go, November 18th. Yep. But he did say that there could be one big surprise, for maybe a home game this year. I don't know. He said he cannot talk about it. So
no, anything that's not already set, they don't discuss.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. I'm excited for surprises. I'm excited for the excitement of Kentucky basketball this year.
Yeah. He was just so. He said he's so excited about the returners, the 2 players, Jasper and Moreno. He was raving how well that they're going to be able to come in and blend in with this group. He was ranting and raving about Jalen Lowe, that when they was on campus this past weekend, that when they went out to dinner, basically it was Lowe that was initiating all the conversations and was talking like, I'm going to get you the ball. I'm going to help. I'm going to be doing this, that. He just seemed like he's right there clicking and fitting in, right away.
He really is. He really is. I think all the guys are, like the guys that went to the baseball game. I think they're all glad to be coming to campus, glad to be, learning about it. All they talk about are the fans, how great the fans are, you know, and for them to already be feeling that love, that really says a lot.
Yeah. They was on campus all weekend. So they said that all of them had the time of their lives and was just ranting and raving about the fan base, that they just couldn't understand it. And now that they see it, they believe it. So,
yeah, I mean, I can't imagine the rush being a ball player and coming to Kentucky like that.
I couldn't imagine just putting that jersey on. It was like, I believe the story was Richie Farmer and John Pelfrey and them back in the day. Every time that they would put that jersey on, they would start crying. And Pitino was like, "Why are you crying?" And he was like,
"Right,
it just feels like that." And the thing is, one of the Mark Pope said before one of the games or after the game, a fan came up to him when they was doing an interview, and he asked just to step onto Rupp Arena's floor. And when he stepped onto that court, he just started bawling. And
I would.
And he said it was something that he never thought that he would ever be able to do, is touch that floor, and he got to do it. So.
Oh, I totally would. I would want to be on the floor. I saw Leigh for the first time 2 weeks ago, and I thought you were Mark Pope's wife. No, not that Leanne, but
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not going to say I wouldn't be, but no, he's good. I'm good.
Yeah, they was talking about the Louisville date. I think it is like right around
New Year's
Christmas,
Eve.
New Year's Eve, right after Christmas, New Year's Eve. So, and that's going to be at the Yum Center. So everybody get ready. That place is going to be rocking.
At the Dome Center.
Yeah.
Hey, I might get to go to that one because it's right across the bridge from me. So.
I mean,
there's a chance.
Louisville is going to have a probably a top 15, top 10 team. I mean, they're going to. It's going to be a rough game going into the Yum Center. We've won, I think, just about every game that we've played in the Yum Center, besides maybe one. I think we have lost there, but
I was there and we lost one.
Yeah.
Thanks, Christopher. Appreciate you. I did see the other day. It was a little interview with Kelsey. And he was talking about Mark Pope and how Mark Pope started with nothing. I mean, and the incredible job he did last year. Like, he was giving a lot of praise to Mark Pope.
Yeah, it's you want to hate the coach at your rival, but it's something. It's just hard to hate him and not like or to say you dislike him. It's just I don't know. There's just something. I mean, he's not said anything. He's been so, praiseful for the University of Kentucky. Mark Pope telling everybody how good of a job he's done. Pope has done the same thing. So neither two of these coaches is going to clash. It's just going to be the teams on the court that's going to be clashing.
Exactly, because I think the coaches have so much respect for each other, and I think that it's that's something we need. The coaches need to respect each other to have a good game, because if the coaches don't have any respect, then it's just a mudslinging, and it's just not. That's not appropriate for a coach, I don't think. I mean, I know it happens, but at the same time, why?
Yeah,
you're both good. You're both there for a reason. Just give credit where credit's due. Well, can I just say, I am so glad I am not going to hear Cooper Flagg's name all year this year.
Well, you still hear it, them talking about the draft boards, but I cannot.
Yeah, but we won't hear it all year next year.
I know. Yeah, that's all you heard. I mean, I got so sick of hearing that name. They said his name, and it should have been Jeremiah Broome, I believe, name being said just as much or more.
Oh, I think so too. I think Janai Broome got screwed, but
yeah, I do too. Yeah, I mean,
I just got tired of every game we played. It wasn't even against him, and there
every time I really heard that name and I cringed, but you know what? I just thought and I said, look at that spin move that he tried to do, and Ortega took it out of his hands. Went down, got fouled, made free throws, and we won that game by 5 or 6 points. So I know we had the bragging rights on Duke right now. So
Peanut, thanks for the schedule. In Indiana, that game is on my birthday.
12/13. Okay,
that's on a Saturday, in case anybody wants to know. Okay, we have a would you rather. Would you rather beat St. John's, U of L, Indiana, or Arkansas by 25? So what are your all's thoughts? Beat St. John's, U of L, Indiana, or Arkansas by 25?
Well, if it was me, I want to beat them all by 25 points. But
he's
one.
If you could only pick one,
well, I'll pick one, and it's going to be Louisville, because they're our rival. But that doesn't mean that we still don't beat St. John's, Indiana, or Arkansas by 1 or more points.
Right, but I pick Arkansas.
You pick Arkansas. I'm gonna take Louisville on this one.
I want to beat Louisville, but I'd rather beat Arkansas by 25.
I'd say it's going to be between Arkansas and Louisville on that question.
Peanut says Arkansas. Go Cat says Louisville. Nobody says Arkansas. Yeah, we got to get revenge. That's for sure.
Revenge on Arkansas. Yeah.
Louisville. Yeah. Mercury says Louisville. Yeah, I mean.
Host says Indiana. Yeah. Yep.
So I mean,
it's been
the Indiana rivalry coming back is interesting, but I really just I really just want to beat Arkansas by 25 because they're jerks. Indiana and Arkansas, Otis says, yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, beating Arkansas in Fayetteville this year by 25, that would be lovely. And you know, I know Cal was riding high with that win he had in Rupp Arena. I know Pope and the Cats on last year's team, our players, is going to remember that game.
Oh yeah, they will.
That's going to be one good game that Oway is going to remember that game.
Yeah. Mercury's asking who all's going to Big Blue Madness this year. Well, I had tickets last year and my mom wasn't feeling well, so I gave them away. But if I get them again this year, I'll go.
Yeah.
I've been a few times. I like it.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really heard any of the basketball recruits for 26, which ones are going to be at Big Blue Madness. I mean, we still got, 5-something months before that, happens in, late October, early November. So I'm sure they'll have plenty. And I think, right now, none of the players can make any visits to the campus and do anything. So I know that they said that they're going to be starting working in the summer to get some of these players on campus and get them down, as quick as they could and try to get them in and maybe get a commitment before, the early signing period in November,
Yeah. We cannot lose at Arkansas. Nobody, you are correct. We cannot lose at Arkansas. I don't think we will this year. I think we're going to be set. And with the fact that I'm drawing a blank. Boogie Flan left Arkansas, I think it's going to be a big help to anybody going against them.
Yeah, I've heard that he still has his name in the draft, and that's what basically he really wants. If he get told that he's not getting, a first round pick or something, I haven't really actually heard any of the schools that maybe was recruiting him.
I haven't either. What is your BBN origin story? Sorry in advance if you have given it. Okay, I haven't. So, my BBN origin story. When I was 4 years old, I can remember watching my first game with my dad. We turned the TV down, turned Kay Wood-Ledford up, and that was the way you watched basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Started watching it then, didn't stop watching it. I can remember the first team that I remembered their names was Kyle Macy, Louis Dampier, Rick Roby, and those guys, Goose Givens. Like, those are the first names that I remembered.
Yeah.
And I have been a Kentucky fan my whole life. So that's how from the time I was 4. So I'm 59 now. So 55 years I've been a fan.
Yeah.
And I can't get enough of it.
Yeah, I remember watching it with my grandmother when I was a little kid, and she would do the same thing and listen to Kay Wood, turn the TV set down, her, granddad, me. She had a notebook, and she would write every player from Kentucky's name down, and then the opposing players for the other team, their numbers down, and she would keep whether they scored 2 points. Well, back then they didn't have a 3-point shot, but how many free throws that they hit, how many fouls they got, whether they got a dunk. She kept steals. She had everything, and she kept them books for. I've got a lot of them in my basement now, but she kept it all the way up until she wasn't able to do it. So that's one of my fond memories of watching UK with my grandmother and granddad.
Right. Hey guys, just so you know, you can actually purchase the merch. If you like the show, you can purchase the merch. So get a hold of us if you're interested.
Yeah, you can go on Mike's webpage and you can do all the ordering from right there, and it gets shipped directly to your residence. So yeah,
and it gets there quick.
And it doesn't take very long. I got mine within less than a week, when he told me, I think. But that's awesome. Same as me. Gold Cats. But mine started in the 78 James Leigh dunk on Duke. Yeah. I remember the game, vaguely. I was on, that was 78. I was only like 7 years old, but I remember, watching it with my grandmother and them. But I still remember that dunk, out of mostly except for Jack Givens going goose off of everybody and
Oh,
scoring,
yeah.
the points he scored that game.
What's up, 21? So you're on Facebook because YouTube don't like you tonight. Oh, damn. I mean, darn. So, hey, 21, I got your digits and I'll be texting you. So, just so you know, I got it from Big Mike. So, you know, but yeah, if y'all haven't clicked the like button, make sure you do that.
Mm-hmm.
Subscribe if you haven't, share with your friends.
Yeah, I think there was a couple other things that Pope was talking about, that some of these players that played for him last year, he said that every one of them, you would be so proud for them to be your son. And, he just rant and rave. I mean, every player on the team. And
He gets good guys.
yeah, and he was talking about, they put together teams that is going to be like that, and they, that a team that's never played together, how would he get it done? He said that they collect a lot of data on these players, and that's how they analytically put together a team like this, and knows that these parts will fit together, and that we don't think that we're going to have any locker room problems or any egos or anything that sets at the door. So yeah, I mean, he's ranting and raving about all this, and he was even talking about, this is how tough the SEC was last year, that we got 14 teams in out of 16. And he was even talking about, he thought how the conference was when they won the championship in 1996. They had 4 teams that made it to the Elite Eight and Sweet 16, and 2 of them was in the championship game, and that was almost doubled this year. We had
Right.
7 teams in and 2 in the championships. So
right. So hope JQ tears the rim off against Arkansas. Yeah, me too, Mercury.
Yeah.
Margaret says, my first game was with my dad, 1966 radio, Texas Western versus Kentucky. They made a movie about it.
Yeah.
That's way cool.
Yes.
That's extremely cool. I think that is way cool. Y'all have got some great stories about how you became, born blue. And that is a thing. I don't care what anybody says. People are born blue.
Yep. Yeah. I know, Joe Lenardi, he's already busy. I thought he would take a little bit of time off, but now he's right back at it. He has 12 SEC teams in the tournament right now. So, I mean, it's going to be a good conference again. I mean, I don't think we'll get 14, but you never know. I mean, I never thought last year that this conference was going to be as good as it was.
I didn't either. I mean, it's just all of a sudden the SEC just broke through. Like it was pretty even up until now. And then SEC just dominated. The teams that were put together, the returners on some of the teams just really had.
Yeah.
I see it. I do. Mike, I do see at least 10 teams. I think I could see at least 10 from the SEC as long as we were still the same,
Well, I think as in some of the way too early ones, some people put it on there. It showed that we had 7 or 8 teams that was ranked in the top 25. So, I know we're going to probably at least get 7. I wouldn't be doubtful that we get 10 easily.
Yeah, I think so too. Pop quiz. Who wiped their hands on their socks during a free throw? Go ahead, Jimmy.
I know the answer. Do you want to see the people if they answer it?
Let's see what we're getting. Goose, Kyle Macy.
Son of a gunner is guy that was Kyle Macy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I can even picture him doing it because I remember watching those games.
Yeah. Yeah.
He'd reach down and wipe one, he'd reach down and wipe the other and shoot. Travis Ford is your favorite player, Otis. Travis Ford was good. Travis Ford was a really good player.
Yeah, his junior and senior year, which he transferred from Missouri, but he had great players around him. I mean, Jamal Mashburn. I mean, there was a lot of good players on them teams that he was there the 2 years. But I was so upset. We were so close. I think against North Carolina going to the Final Four, and we ended up getting beat. And the same way against Michigan when they had the Fab Five, Travis Ford was on them teams. And if it wasn't for one injury on a particular player, Dale Brown injured his shoulder and couldn't play anymore. And then Mashburn fouled out. Travis Ford could have been on 2 Final Four teams.
Yeah, and I do think that, like we had talked before, Travis Perry, as long as he keeps up and puts in the work, he could turn in being playing just like Travis Ford.
Yeah, in 2-3 years, I believe he's going to be just like a Travis Ford. He's a great shooter. He makes great decisions. He's going to have 3 years under his belt. Yeah, I believe he'd be just like a Travis Ford type player.
I think so. Just the style he's got, I really see that happening. Sam Bowie was the first player I met. Nobody, that's cool.
Yeah.
Sam Bowie was awesome.
Yes, he was.
Go Cat said, Mom was a Hoosier, but we converted her. Good.
Yeah. I know there's been a lot of Hoosier fans that has left the state of Indiana and came to Kentucky, and they've even admittedly said that people told them, you're going to go down there and you're going to become a big Kentucky fan. And just watch, and they go, "Oh no, I ain't never." And then 3 or 4 years later, they're a Kentucky fan.
Exactly. We were up 6 with 5 minutes to go when Dale Brown went out. Yep.
Yeah, he dove for a loose ball and went into the tables that was on the sideline, and he hit his shoulder on the leg. And he was just like this. He couldn't do anything the rest of the game. But yeah, we was up by 6. That was against the Michigan.
That was torture too.
Yeah.
Losers. Nobody said losers. I call it Loserville, so we might as well call them the losers.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then we got the other teams.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this team we got coming up next year, and the schedule is going to be outstanding. Playing St. John's, that just put it up today. That was a great talking about that today.
Right. Okay. So since we're talking about next year, what are we talking a minute about? Who we think will be our starting 5?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Okay. So let's start. Who do you see as a guard starting? We'll take it by position.
Point guard, I'm going to say that it's going to be Jalen Lowe, that he would be our starter right off the bench for a point guard.
Okay, and I will agree with you on that because of his inside presence and because of his shooting ability and his ball handling ability. I would agree with that. Okay. And then next for shooting guard.
Shooting guard, I'm either going to have Jasper Johnson or Denzel Aberdeen. I think it's going to be a toss-up between those two. But it could be Jasper Johnson. He could have a great summer, a great beginning. And then, Aberdeen has been, before come off the bench, so it's not going to be anything that's going to hurt if Johnson does start. But if Aberdeen beats him out in practice, I believe it's going to be Aberdeen as the shooting guard.
I think that's what it's going to take, is him beating him out in practice, because I'm pretty sure with Jasper Johnson.
Yeah. And,
okay, what about and then of course Ortega on the wing?
That's Ortega is going to be on the way, on the wing, and that's a no-brainer.
Shooting guard Jasper Johnson, Mike.
I agree. Well, I mean, he's got the talent. I know he's got to beef up and get stronger because this is a physical SEC, and he needs to build up through the summer and in the fall as much as he can. That boy needs to be in the weight room and eating 3 or 4 meals a day just to put some weight on him.
I think so too. So then forward,
I'm going to go with Mo D.
Mo D.
Mohamed Diabate.
I agree with you there. So it looks like we've got pretty much the same idea.
Yeah. And
And
then you go ahead.
and then Jaden Quaintons
If
rounded out.
as long as he's 100%, he's starting. I believe Brandon Garrison can come off and fill his shoes until he is actually 100%. But yeah, if it's 100% at the beginning of the year, it's going to be JC, and then Brandon is going to back him up. I believe that Yelovich will back up Diabate. You're going to have Williams is going to be he's one that I could flirt with of putting him in maybe a starting role. But I believe that Aberdeen, Diabate, and Quaintons is just a little bit better. And with Williams, he's just a sophomore, going to be a sophomore for Tulane.
Right.
He played good minutes at Tulane, but he knows what his role is, and he's going to get his plenty of playing time, and he's got better days ahead of him if he does not start this year.
Right. And Mercury, yes, Jalen Lowe did put his name in the draft, but he's kind of doing what Ortega's doing, just getting some feedback for next year. I don't think that he's actually looking, because he would not be drafted in the first 2 rounds. I don't think. He could with Jalen Lowe.
Oh, Jalen Lowe.
Right now, Ortega's still projected at 77. So odds are he's not going. But Jalen Lowe isn't projected that high. So I believe he's just doing the same thing that.
A lot of people could put, you got a case for Colin Chandler. Well, if he has a great summer and does what we saw yesterday being in the gym, and he could end up being our shooting guard. It could be him over top of Jasper, and then Jasper over top of Aberdeen, or
it could be.
We got 3 great options right there, and Pope is going to play all 3 of them.
He's already said that. But I think it's going to depend on which one's doing the best at that time, and which one fits in with the style of defense the other team's playing and the style of offense the other team's playing. Because one player might come out and he may do this well against this team, but he may not be a match on this team against this team.
Yeah, and then Pope did. Pope has talked about BG. It was a 2-year plan when he came in, and I believe that he is setting for his position for the next 2 years at Kentucky, as long as he wants to be here. And I don't see that once Jaden Quaintons is gone, I believe he will be a top 10 draft pick next year. That it'd be time for Brandon Garrison to shine, and I think he's going to shine this year anyhow.
I agree too. And Peanut, I don't think Brandon Garrison will start. I think if Jaden Quaintons is healthy, Garrison might start until Jaden is healthy.
Yeah. I believe Garrison would be the starter.
Until they know, okay, we can put him in here. He can get physical and everything's fine.
Yeah, I don't see that you would have anybody but Garrison. Yelovich, he's better on the wing. Because he can play the 4, he's going to be able to stretch defenses out, shoot the 3. He's a great passer from the top of the key on down. They want him out on the floor. They're not going to put him under the basket.
Exactly. Nobody says, I bet Pope is making several 2-year plans. I bet he is. Mm-hmm. Because honestly, that's a smart way to get guys to stay for 2 years.
Yeah.
Just make this 2-year plan. We're going to give you this much. We'll give you this much next year. We're going to get you to this point. I think that's a smart way to recruit.
Mm-hmm. Me too. Yeah.
Because that tells the guys that you have faith in them and you want them. And that tells you whether the guys really want to come to Kentucky or not.
Yeah. And then we got Malachi Moreno is going to be backing up Garrison. So, we got plenty of options there. And Moreno, he is just a beast on the boards. He's going to be a defensive presence. He's going to block shots. He's going to do little things down low just to help out when the minutes that he has this year. And then, he's just going to be a sophomore the following year. And hopefully we get him back on a 2-year deal also.
Yeah. What do you think about, do you feel like the freshman on this year's team is going to get more minutes than the freshman on last year's team?
Yeah, I believe Jasper and Moreno maybe about the same as kind of maybe what a Trent Noah was last year. Colin Chandler. But once he gets his feet under him and plays towards the end of the year, I think he's going to play more. But I believe Jasper's going to play, at least 15, 20, 3 minutes a game. So I think he's going to be he's going to play more than any freshman we had this year. And KY 21, I would love at 40, but it had never happened. We was the closest team to ever do it, so I can just brag about that. I hated losing, but I don't think any team could do that again. 40 straight games, that's hard.
I don't think so either. Let's see, Peanut. Any chances Perry doesn't find the blend of money and playing time and comes back? No, I do not believe that will happen. Mercury, you think Moreno will go pro after 1 year? That's possible, but he may have a 2-year plan with Pope, and if he has a 2-year plan, then he'll stay, find out what he needs to do. If he goes late in the first round, then he goes. But it just depends on where his head's at, I guess. If he wants to get better and come back for a higher draft stock, or if he just goes ahead and says, "Okay, I'm out of here,"
Yeah,
we really won't know.
I did see that some draft boards did have him in like the late first round. So, even if he is like second round right now, just depends on his play. He can work up into the first round easily. So
he could, or he could go the other way. We just don't know. It depends on the year he has, really.
Yeah.
I think Perry is gone for good. Yeah, I do too. I don't see him coming back at all. I think he'll end up going to a smaller school in Kentucky, honestly.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts. I think he will end up going to a smaller school in Kentucky or close by. Perry can't play defense. His defense was lacking. He seemed scared to me, like kind of timid with the ball as far as, trying to go after the ball and trying to guard people. I think he was a little standoffish. I think that will change if he goes to a smaller school.
Yeah.
I can remember in the early 70s when the games were taped late and came on at 11:30 p.m., sitting up with my dad watching the poor guy getting up at 5:30 heading to work. Yeah, my dad did too. Big Blue 66. My dad was a mail carrier. So he had to get up and watch them, but he didn't give up. He didn't stop watching them. It didn't matter what time they were on. He was watching that game.
Yeah, this team, I'm never going to compare them to like that 96 team, because I think that was one of the best teams I've ever seen play college basketball, period.
Oh, yeah.
But, that this could be a scary team on, right now on paper, it's a scary team. And depends on, how everything comes together. This could be a team that, could only lose, 2, 3, 4 games at the most and be right there and win a national championship. And it doesn't matter if they are better than the 96 team. They can say, hey, we won a championship ring just like the 96 team did.
Right. Peanut wants to know, do you think if he ever got meaningful minutes, Perry would have never left? Honestly, I don't think Perry was prepared enough and skilled enough to get meaningful minutes.
Yeah.
He got thrown into a situation that he wasn't. Nobody thought that would happen. He wasn't prepared for it. I think that I just don't think he would have gotten serious minutes at Kentucky because there was so much talent above him.
Yeah.
Coach recruited over Perry. Well,
I believe so. I mean, go ahead, but yeah, I believe he did get recruited over.
I think so too, because I think he knew that Perry still wasn't ready for a starting role, and he needed to get some starters in there. We lost starters.
Yeah,
he needed starters, and I do believe that he recruited over Perry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And maybe Perry getting as many minutes as he did last year kind of maybe helped prolong him thinking, well, maybe I could have gotten some more and I might not get any this coming year. And that's probably another good reason that he is not staying this year, because from the minutes he did get last year, he wasn't going to get anything close to that this year.
Right. And I don't think he would have either.
certainly he would have probably not started any of the games like he did just because of injury last year.
Mo going to trip out playing for the Cats, the Blue Mist. Oh, yeah. Mo is going to trip out.
Yeah.
I think they all will. I think Big Blue Madness blows the recruits away every year when they, when it's their year and they're coming out for the first time and being introduced. I think Big Blue Madness just blows them away every time.
Yeah.
What's up, Jeff? Make sure y'all click the like button, please.
Yeah, go down there, hit that like button.
Send to your old classmates from 30 years ago. Send it to everybody.
Yep.
Perry couldn't handle SEC play. I'm sorry to say it. And you're right.
Yeah.
I don't think he was ready. And you can't, and Charlie White said you can't, today's game, you can't wait for a player to improve.
No, it's like,
you snooze, you lose.
You have to have talent, and you just can't build talent in 1.5 years and expect to be good. Either you got it or you don't. And it's like Pope doesn't have the time. And I know he did not push Travis Perry out. He would have never done that. But he understood that it's going to take a 3 or 4 year deal, and you just can't do that. And most of the time these days, you don't even have a player around 1 or 2 good years if you got them for 2 years.
You're lucky to have him for 2 years. Like, we're lucky if Otega comes back and we have him for 2 years.
I mean, him coming back, that would be probably the most, something that we probably never thought that I figured that he would have been gone just the way he played. But Mark Pope saying that, most of his heart is still here in Lexington. And,
I'll take that.
There's a lot of games he remembers that he wants to play and get a revenge on. I mean, Tennessee and Arkansas, all those teams that got us last year. He still remembers that. But
exactly, and that left a mark. Okay, and, Scott says, I can't wait to see this 25-26 team. I think the sleeper on this team is Tulane transfer Cam Williams.
He's going to be a sleeper. I almost kind of think that he could start some games and maybe a couple games here and there. Just depends on what type of team that we're playing. But I wouldn't be scared to throw him into a starting lineup against Michigan State or St. John's.
I wouldn't either. I would trust him. I think he's going to show us a lot more than we know about, that we've seen or heard. I just think that he's gonna really do something. I think the fan base, like, how the fan base gets the teams going. I think the fan base at the games is going to get a couple of these players, like, just hype them up to where they feel like just beasts out there. And I think that, the Big Blue Nation will have a big part of that this year too.
Yeah, they was with the interview, they was talking about this team, and both Pope said he agrees that this team can do it. They can win the whole thing. He said he knows that there's going to be other good teams. He said, but this team can get to the Final Four and cut the nets down next year in Indianapolis.
Yeah, and he believes in them that much already, and they haven't even practiced together or anything yet. So
yeah, and we still forgot about the Gonzaga game. We play them, at that one's going to be in Nashville next year. And I believe they said the Bridgestone Arena was getting a overhaul, and it was going to. I think it was like a $20-something million, renovation, for the facility. So it'll be ready for when we play. I guess Gonzaga this year. They're working on it now. And then then that's where they're going to host the SEC tournament's going to be there again next year too.
Right. Attended a George Mason. Williams is good. Watched him play. Yeah, I've watched some of his highlights and things. He really is good. I think we will see a lot more players staying in college with the NIL. They can earn more in college than NBA rookie.
Yep.
Contract. Yes, and we've said this to each other more than once. The fact that, you might end up in the G League or you might end up getting offered less than $1 million or $1 million to go in the draft, or even a couple, but you could make $2 or $3 million your sophomore year in high school. Which would you pick? I would take, I would take the NIL, stay in school. That way you can better your skills, then try to get drafted higher, make more money.
Yeah. Peanut was asking, is Bridgestone were Predators? I guess that's the hockey team. I know there is a hockey team that actually plays in the Bridgestone Arena.
It is. It's the Predators.
Yeah, I think that is right, Peanut.
It played with a broken finger last year. This year,
yeah, he was. He did have a broken finger last year.
No, Mike. If you could trim Rupp Arena to 14,000 seats and have the atmosphere like Kansas, would you? No, because I like Rupp Arena being that big and having that many fans be able to come to the games.
Yeah,
because it gets loud.
I mean, they with the renovations they've done, it's not. It used to hold like 24,000. I think it's only about 22 now.
22 and some change, yeah.
And some change because they put the chair back seats in. So they said they're going to finish the rest of the arena, and that would probably knock it down to about like maybe 2,000 or 20,000. So. Right. Hey, yeah, I still want it because when we have good teams, it always is one of the loudest environments, at Rupp Arena.
Son of a Gunner said, since Captain Crash isn't here, I'll just say that Grant Derbyshire will be the key to hanging number 9. Grant Derbyshire is no longer on the team.
Yeah, he's no longer with it. Yeah.
So he's gone.
I don't know that we have a walk-on, I believe Walker Horn. He went somewhere else.
Yeah, and then we had Brendan Canada, or did he?
I believe he. I don't think he's with the team anymore.
I don't think we have any of the walk-ons anymore.
Yeah.
How do you deal with the fans not cheering and sitting down? I yell at them from home.
I do too. Yeah.
I tell them to quit knitting, and if they want to give up those tickets, I'll take them.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I say to the Blue Herons.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand. They get upset when somebody is in front of them and they try to make people sit down. If you're there to watch a basketball game, you're not there to sit down. You're wanting to cheer for the team, So yeah, they ought to move them up and give them some kind of luxury box seats or something like that, and put the students down at the bottom.
Right. How do you go to a UK game and not cheer? Exactly.
I know.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
How can you? I can't keep my mouth shut when I go to a UK game.
Yeah.
I can't keep my mouth shut when I'm at home watching a UK game.
Yeah,
I don't see how people can go there and be that close to the live action and not be just all into it. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, Rupp Arena's changed a lot since '79. Yeah,
They need to quit knitting. They said they the Blue Herons.
Yeah.
That's the way I feel about it. They might as well be. Let me pull out my ball of yarn.
Exactly. Yep.
It's so sad. So sad.
Well, I believe we've about touched on just about every subject that we wanted to tonight, and
a little bit of everything.
I know it's going to be like about maybe like we're over an hour now into it. That's about what we're going to try to keep it at, in the summertime. I know once the recruiting starts vamping up and we're start doing, on campus, visits, we'll have a lot more to talk about in the fall, the spring, everything will probably, run over an hour, maybe 2 hours, but it's great seeing everybody on here. And I don't know if you had anything else that you would want to mention or anything, Leanne, before we get off of here.
I just want to say thank you to everybody that tuned in. We really appreciate each and every one of you. You're the best ever. How often do you guys have podcasts? Okay, Marty, every Thursday night at 7:00 Eastern time. So we'll be here every Thursday night at 7:00 Eastern. We'll talk about what we know about recruits and throw in odds and ends, little tidbits here and there on things that we've found out. So we do appreciate all of you. Please click the like button and share this with everybody you know. Yeah, even people you don't.
Yeah, if you just want to send it to your your brothers, your cousins, anybody, just, send it. And if they get on here, that's fine. It's just, word of mouth. We're trying to get as much of it out as we can. So, but
Right.
we enjoy being here for you. And tonight was a real good show. A lot of information that we both came together and, talked a couple times this week and got everything together. And, we just want to make sure that we get as much information to you as we can on, Thursdays. And Marty Scott, blessings, go Big Blue. Thanks everybody being on here, and all the questions.
Thanks
that
to Big
answered.
Mike, because without him we wouldn't be here.
Yeah, he's in the background. Everybody, he's still here with us. But BBN fans and all these people that's on here, thank you so much. And we'll make a wrap of this on Thursday night, and we'll be cannot be waiting enough for be on here for next week this time.
Send it to all the Duke fans, Mercury.
Yeah, there we go, Mercury. But all right, guys, we're going to get out here. It was great to be on here with y'all. Good night.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night. Go Big Blue.